Good afternoon. It is February 27th, 2020, and Bitcoin prices have pulled back right just about exactly to that 8,500 estimation I made the other day. I super appreciate everyone who's been joining our Discord chat this last while. Fantastic to have everybody along, such an active place of really great traders, and I'm really liking what I'm seeing here with the MACD crossing over on the 4-hour time frame. Just as we did on this bounce here, we could be in for some sideways and some consolidation. And we can see the confirmation here in the Ichimoku cloud on the 4-hour. We can see the Bollinger Band 4-hour mean reversion signal set up here at the very same time. So we'll dig into Bitcoin, we'll look through our indicators and see what they're telling us. But before I get there, we've also done a special study here today, a benchmark on all of the cryptocurrencies traded on Binance. We tested them all to see which ones pass on the Ichimoku cloud daily, which ones pass on the Bollinger Band weekly, and which ones pass our special bull market watch criteria. We can see that the benchmark overall, we have 110 winners here today. The entire cryptocurrency sphere is up 1.4% here today since we did our best of Binance study. All of our Pro Alerts subscribers get access to this every time we do the best of Binance study. Now the spreadsheet is updated. You can simply go in, click on the CSV export, download all of those portfolios and start doing your research. It's a super important time to do this research on the altcoins because of what's happened in the Bitcoin dominance chart here. We can see that altcoins made a really fantastic run up. We've topped out there on the 14th of February. Everything is pulled back over the last 7 or 8 days, and we have a fantastic consolidation setting up here right now. And so this study on the best of Binance is perfectly timed and available for all of our pro subscribers. Now let's jump into Bitcoin, because this, I believe, is the ascending wedge to God. This is the huge pattern that is going to be continuing to go up crazy high again. And we can use this simple bars pattern over here, grab the chart, stick it on the chart, and then drag this over into place. And it will sort of do the logarithmic scale to tell us how high that will be. Now, if I pull this down so that we can see how high that actually goes up to, and pull this down, we can see that if we do another move like we did, we're going to be hitting $300,000 in the next year and a half. Because we want to start structuring out where exactly are these bottoms, where's the perfect time to buy. We're looking for the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation and confirmation with this set of indicators. On the weekly time frame, for a long time now, I've been looking for this kind of uptrend in the RSI on the weekly time frame. And so we may still have some room to pull back here yet before we're hitting this trend line. Before we've bottomed in the past, the daily has really come back. The RSI on the daily time frame has really dipped down deeper. So the weekly shows that we got some room to pull back. The daily shows that we've got some room to pull back. So we may not be done our pain yet. When I go into the 12-hour time frame, it can have some room to pull back as well. We can still slip from here. We haven't really dipped to the deepest yet as far as this is telling me. And so I'm just watching the charts here, and I don't care what this tells me. What I'm watching more is the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. And it has to build out now on the 4-hour or the 12-hour time frame, because one of our biggest indicators here for this time frame is crossing negative. So it's not completely terminal that it crosses negative. It'll cross back positive again, but likely we've got a bit of momentum now to go sideways before this is going to be crossing back up again. Let's zoom in closer, because now what we're going to be seeing, if we are in the downtrend from here, we're going to see the RSI build up and slam down, build up and slam down, build up. And so when this is building up, I'm watching for the slam down now, just because of what I've seen in the RSI just now and expecting that it could pull back more. Let's go into the next indicator. One that's really got me baffled is the volume. We really just don't have that big volume to support that huge run up to $300,000. We just don't have it yet. And the money's out there. It could just be directed towards Bitcoin, and I don't know, it's just not here yet. Let's zoom into the daily time frame to see what's going on, the nature of this dumping right at the front edge, because the big picture isn't giving it to us. When we go into the 12-hour time frame, now in my mind, I'm just mapping out the depth of this dump compared to this one. And now I want, because of the 4-hour MACD coming up, we'll see. I'm expecting that we're going to get a new 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, and the 12-hour, it'll cross negative and it will go sideways a bit, and it'll give us time to have that build back in. So what I want to see in this indicator specifically is the divergence of this dump being the deepest now. This is the biggest panic, and that we are, building up to a bigger bottom, maybe sideways for a long enough time that we can get to that long trend line. Let's zoom in on this 4-hour time frame. Okay, so deep. These showed deeper dumping and it kept going. So now we've just got to see how this dumpage keeps going. On the 1-hour time frame, so it was pretty deep and steady here for a while. And now it's eased up, but it hasn't flipped to positive yet. And so I'm still feeling like we're going to be doing a deeper dip. And I want to go to the daily time frame and put this in there because I didn't do it yet. And I should do it every episode now. But the log time frame, it's really simple. Most things are. There we go. Thereabouts. And so our weekly RSI will come back to those levels when we come over here. There's some more pain, there's some more difficulty to come as we're coming to these levels. Then we'll see that turnaround. There's more to come. Let's go to the next indicator. So this is one of my favorite, the weekly MACD. It's losing a bit of steam here. So it could go sideways. We can see here where it's gone sideways for a good long time after we've come up, given a bit of strength. So it could easily go sideways for a good long time while we're setting up into that big long logarithmic trend line we were just looking at. Let's zoom into the daily. So now the daily we identified earlier is going to have to cross. We know that the daily oscillates through the trend. So if we are on a bigger uptrend, like the macro uptrend, then we're going to see this oscillate as we're going through things. I just don't think that we're done the dip down far enough yet. This hasn't shown it to us yet. This will cross. When it does, then we're ready to go. So when it crosses, we're ready to come up. When it crosses, we're ready to come up. But it just can't be until that crosses. So the 12-hour, if we zoom in, this isn't giving it to us yet. There's still lots of momentum down. It hasn't caught itself yet. And what I want to see when I zoom right in on this is the histograms. I want to see these histograms and the shape of them. The red, this is pulling back a little bit, but it's not pulling back deeply enough here, right? It's not turning from negative to positive here, these histograms. So let's see what's going on. We'll zoom in a little bit more. This is where I was liking it, because when I'm out at this point, the 4 hours giving me the idea that we could have caught something of a bottom here on the 1-hour time frame. So when this crosses negative, I'm watching for that slam back. The same thing that we were watching for in the RSI is that when it breaks, it's slamming down. So when this breaks these levels, it's slamming down. And this will be a top formation that we're looking for. No matter where it comes up to, it's still not done yet. Let's go to the next indicator, the Ichimoku cloud. A week ago, I was saying, look, we've never gone through the Ichimoku cloud on the weekly in the past. We see that there was an instance of us coming up to the weekly Ichimoku cloud, but we bounced off of that and came way down. And I was sort of inferring that, hey, this is going to be the first time that we go up and through the Ichimoku green cloud. And no. So we have the twist to the negative, and things are looking pretty sketchy here now as we're coming to these levels. And I'm expecting a bit further down. Really, we're looking for this trend line. We're still looking for this area along in here, and that would be, pretty much what we saw in the past on that. Let's go into the daily, because we did cross over to the negative when we had this 1, 2, 3 top formation. The daily has come right down. This is not abnormal for an uptrend. So long as we're staying along this cloud and moving our way up, or through the cloud and moving our way up, we're just watching now for the buy signal in the Ichimoku cloud uptrend, which would be when the blue line crosses back up over the red line and we're pulling up away from the cloud. So we'll watch that indicator really closely. When we go into the 12-hour Ichimoku, we have already gone through the cloud. We've got all the negative indicators here. We've got all the bearish details. So it's already said down, and there's no turnaround here. This is not giving us any kind of bounce from here. This is not giving us a bounce on the 4-hour time frame. We're still have, the cloud is getting thicker, so we got sideways coming up, if anything. You zoom into the 1-hour time frame. Is it come through the cloud? No. The blue line has crossed above the red, but it's got a long ways to go to up through the cloud. In fact, if the blue line now crosses below this red line, that is the sell signal in this downtrend. And that will give us the targets now down a little bit lower, where it's going to be not so good. Not so good. We'll have to go and see what this does for the alts, because if Bitcoin dominance is rising as Bitcoin prices are falling, then certainly being short is a good idea for this short period of time, or being in stablecoin is a good idea. Let's go over to the Bollinger Bands. On the weekly time frame, we went right from the bottom all the way to the top, and I figured we were just going to start flaring, and this was going to start just running right up along the edge of the top, just like we did over here. But a little bit not yet. It come back to the midline and has bounced off it on the weekly time frame. Let's zoom into the daily and see what's going on. This was running the rail, so right on the edge, and now it's come down to brush against the third standard deviation and push right against this 200 period moving average. Now in the 12-hour time frame, we're touching right on that 200 period moving average. We are getting a really good, what looks like a mean reversion in the 12-hour setting up here. So if I zoom in now to the 4-hour time frame, also bounced out of here like a mean reversion would, and here, when we zoom in, we can see closer that there is a little tiny 1, 2, 3. It's not very clear. It's not very big. To me, it seems like more of a bear flag, actually, the way this is setting up on this way up. And everybody is still so bullish. I think it's just going to get another hammer down here. And that's what it seems like after going through everything. It seems like we're going to get another hammer down. And it's not my favorite prognosis, because when we came down from this top on the 14th of February and we've pulled back to where we are now, Bitcoin dominance rose. This is altcoins losing against Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's losing against US dollar. So altcoins are losing double in their US dollar value. They are really being volatile. Super swing up, super swing down here because of what they're doing following Bitcoin. I don't know what's next, but when the 1, 2, 3 formations shape up, I take an action on it. Whether it's the top formation to get out of a trade, to go short, or the bottom formation, it's time to be prepared to take action. So in closing, it does look like Bitcoin could be hitting a bottom here, that we could get some sideways action before we're building for the next phase up. But as we've gone through more of the detail, we can see that there's still room for this to be coming back to the $8,000, $7,700 level. There is potential for a little bit more pain here, so let's watch closely for this to build out into a 1, 2, 3 formation that we can play on the 4-hour time frame. It's probably going to take 3 or 4 days at the minimum for this to turn around for us. So until then, we'll continue to do updates on this, but the focus for us is really going over to the cryptocurrencies and staying sharp on what's going on with those. Thanks again for tuning in. I appreciate you guys being here. I super appreciate everyone who's been joining our Discord chat this last while. Fantastic to have everybody along, such an active place of really great traders. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you all on the next video.